Hello everybody, I'm back here at UK Games Expo 2025. I'm joined by the delightful Ronnie Renton. Delightful, delicious, lovely.
We'll have some of that.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. All good.
There have been a ton of releases recently. There's a ton of updates coming out thick and fast from Mantic. I can't open an email without seeing something else that I'm being forced to buy.
Forced to buy. Encouraged.
The arm is up the back like that.
That's what you say to the wife.
Yeah. So we're here now to find out what's been happening with Mantic, where you're going, and what's coming up in the future that people want to see as well. So one of the big things that we've seen this year has been Halo, which was phenomenal with the pre-order. And has been going great guns since then. We're seeing the first sort of expansions beyond what people seen from the pre-order. Where's it going?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like you said, Halo phenomenally popular. The IP's loved. I think the IP gets them there, and the gameplay keeps them there. I think the fast, fluid, rolling the dice, just very intuitive. A lot of people that never played a miniatures game or bounced off miniatures games have embraced it, and those hoary old buggers like us have been playing forever think it's a bit of fresh air and we can just pick it up and play. So big in terms of core game sales. In the first version of the game you get 4, I get 4, you get 4, that's our team, there's no army building. Then we launched the first product, which is War Games. Now if I want to Grav Hammer and you want a Spanker, it's not even, so we've introduced points. App to calculate, it's the army list builder, and a few Spartans with the weapon options. In July, the Banished.
Yes.
So this is now we're going to go player versus player. You're not Spartan versus Spartan. Now there really is army building choice coming in. You've got the elites, you've got the Banished. The Spartans have a range of options. So and we're going to launch the first 2 missions. One of the things that makes it unique is your guys respawn. So even if you get a kill, you get a victory point, I respawn. So the game is always balanced. We're going to fight the first. Training is over, soldier. You are now being deployed to a combat zone. You lose a Spartan, it's going to hurt. Okay. So we don't know if it's going to go down that way. We're definitely going to do these first 2 missions to try out. Do you like it where, when you get on top, you can stay on top, you're going to do some heroic turnaround, or the constant? Probably the answer will be a bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that makes the digital game, that PvP combat, constantly respawning, coming back in, trying to push back the aggressor, the flow of the game works like that, and it works brilliantly using that core dead zone mechanic is just fantastic, but the respawning changes gameplay dramatically because of it.
It makes it less claustrophobic. If you make a mistake in dead zone and you lose 2 guys because you've got them in the same square and someone gets a rocket launcher into that square, you're now at a big disadvantage. I've taken 20% of your force away, with this one, you make a mistake, you lose a victory point, it respawns. Often if it's that way, you can respawn behind. It's not going to have a big game impact. So it means you can play a lot more aggressively, a lot more relaxed. You don't need to be quite so nervous. I was teaching the guys to play last year before Gamma, which was our first event with Bloody, and one of our, Blake, he tucks it behind on the first. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to get it round and get a flank attack. I said, no, up on the top, knock some shields down. If you die, you're going to respawn. Yeah. You've got to get in, and bang, on off it went. So that's the joy of that, and that's still in there. In all the basic missions, it's there. Now we're just going to introduce a whole new faction. If you play the core missions, they'll have respawn. If you play the 2 new missions, we've got 2 without it.
So that's going to bring you up to middle of the year. Yeah. Do you have plans for the rest of the year for Halo, or is it going to sort of slow down and give people a chance to get into the tournament sort of feel and play some games, or are there more releases on the horizon quickly?
So yeah, great question. We're doing about 1 every 3 to 4 months where we're coming out with a big release. So March, Adepticon Salute, we released the points and the rest of the Spartan range. July we have the Banished, as we talked about. Then they're coming out of singles, and then you can buy them individually, start tweaking. Towards the end of the year, we're definitely bringing out so they'll be coming next.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I wonder what that's going to be. I'm still looking forward to seeing all the vehicles, the little bikes and flyers and hovers and stuff, because they work very well in Dead Zone and they'll work perfectly well in Halo as well.
Yeah, so it's got a nice solid release schedule. We're almost doing that 3 to 4 months. That just as you've mastered what's come out and played with it a few times, something more will come along and just tweak it again. Without, with Walking Dead, I think we just sometimes release it a bit too much, too fast. Actually, let's spend time growing the audience. All the OP kits are out, the organised events, so the LGT, there's nationals coming, so...
Yeah. Obviously, nothing has happened behind him at all.
No, definitely not.
Moving away from Halo, let's talk a bit about some of your own IPs. Two really big things. One just been released in the likes of Kings of War Champions, and one that's upcoming. So start with Champions. Tell us a bit about the idea behind that.
So one of the things we found with Kings of War was the barrier to entry was massive. Basically, yes, you can get 100 quid and you can buy an army, and then you've got 10 months of hobby building.
Yeah.
3 if you're fast. To get that army ready for the table. Now, we had a little dabble a while ago with Ambush. Mm-hmm. The idea behind Ambush was just lower points. What we found was it didn't quite have enough character.
Yeah.
It was an absolute clear introduction to Kings of War, and it was just lower point values. But we wanted something with a bit more kind of narrative, and a bit more so. We've made the champion. This is his faction. They are ever so slightly more influential in the game than the heroes are in Kings of War, but you have 3 or 4 heroes in Kings of War. So they can issue commands. Their team reflects their game style play. And what you're essentially doing, as you can see down here, is almost, here's your champion, there's the bloody Cardinal, one big kit, and a couple of units. Sorry, you're playing a demo game there, I'm messing with it. And you've actually got the units lined up, playing, but now we can start writing scenarios, capture the stones, get the objective points. It's a nice hobby project that's not too big. The stat cards are all here, so all the information you need comes with it. You can see them actually here. They are actually playing the game, moving it in and moving into the fight. So nice hobby project. You're learning a rank and flank game. A lot of people, I think, will play here and just go through 2 or 3 different factions and stop there. Yeah. But if you want to take that Abyssal army into an army, right, I can now start playing Ambush with it. I can now start playing 1,000-point games, and I can build it up. So both a great recruiter for Kings of War and a beautiful game in its own right.
And I think one of the things that struck me, because I'm a big Kings of War fan, as probably anybody who's seen me knows, Ambush is great, but Ambush is, like you say, it's Kings of War at lower points value. It still has the list building, it still has that, what should I be building? I've just picked this up for the first time, where do I go? With all of the champions' retinues, it is a specific man with a specific set of minions around them, and it is one way to build it. There's no list building, it is fixed, and then it comes down to how you use them on the table in the scenario, and then the flavour the champions bring, because they have little abilities that they can pass out to some, but not all of the units that are on the table.
Every time you've got 3 commands and 4 units, how do you use them? And the non-army list building was a big part of it. It's just open the box, build it, play it.
Yes.
And we're just going to really lower all of those barriers into engaging with our games. All new plastics, beautiful new heroes, which are in this master-crafted resin that we put them together in. The detail is stunning. Nice size hobby project.
Yeah. And it launched with 4, I want to say.
Yeah, I think there was 4 in the first month, which gave you a nice choice. You had the Abyssals and Basileans, and you had, and we've got them here, the Goblins is going Northern Alliance. Anyway, all of the new plastics that we've got, there's 4 in there, and there's 1 every month running up until November, and then we're going to have 1 every 3 months. But the great joy is, every 6 months we're going to have a brand new one of these with a new hero. Whenever new plastics come out, if they haven't got a faction, they'll get one.
Oh, well, that is remarkable. I think most people are lining up for the Trident Realm at the moment, because the Trident Realm hero is possibly the cutest of all champions. And
we've literally been able to have some real fun with it, because we've gone from the bloody Cardinal, which is, kind of gross and void heart, through to Splash on the other side. We've got a real mix. So, enjoy. And if there's going to be 9 factions pretty quickly, 8 or 9 factions fairly quickly. If there isn't one of those 9 you like, maybe try Halo.
Well, yeah, that's one way of doing it. I'll also say the narrative background for Champions is really interesting as well, because there's a lot of world building has gone on in Panethor over the past few years, and there are little Easter eggs. The champions themselves aren't just generic Basilean number 2. You know, everybody's a name character, everybody's a backstory, a history, something they're trying to achieve, which is great.
And with Panethor, you know, it's a living world. It keeps moving on. The thing that happened, the Halpi's Rift a few years ago, is going to have cataclysmic changes at the end of this year. These champions are all going to go on and become the big heroes in the next 5-year arc.
Okay.
These are all going to go on. They're featuring in books. They're tied back and forth. As you know, we have our own rum now,
yes.
Which is very drinkable and tasty.
I imagine it is, but I believe you have to be successful at playing games to get it.
Or just bribe me. I've got a few bottles, so maybe when I come over to Belfast, I'll bring one with us and we can see if we can chunk through.
Yes, yes, we will.
Remind me before I leave. I keep getting my bag get stopped at custom. What's in there? Oh, nothing. But yeah, remind me, we'll bring one. Yeah, the story arc is really growing, and I think this was what we got a chance to do with Champs. Rob Berman just really took it to heart and got some great stories, a real breadth of heroes, and these guys are going to go on and be big players in the Panethor world.
Yeah. Now, that's obviously Panethor's fantasy. There's a whole Warpath universe out there, and while Dead Zone is absolutely fantastic, Firefight's magnificent. So many people have been waiting for this since the Kickstarter was launched last year, and now we're seeing the first of the studio painted 6mm epic Warpath.
Yep, well, 6 became 10 because 10 or 9, so we're somewhere around that ish size. Huge Kickstarter, you know, kind of blew our minds what we were doing. We've been planning and working on it about a year or so. Heard those other guys were redoing theirs. Came out and said, look, here's our plans, do you still want it? The answer was unequivocally yes. It's been a massive project in terms of plastic tooling, just getting all that through. But we're now at the end. You've got Forge Fathers, Enforcers, Plague, Asterians, Nameless. There's 8 factions in total. And it's the first one where we've gone, you've got your plastic, which is the core of your army. Very slick, cool gameplay written by Alessio and Matt. And then you can either take your super heavies, which are the big things, and really give it character. Either we can make those for you, cast them in resin and send them out, or you can just buy the STLs and you can print them at home.
Yeah.
So if you want 15 of them, because some loonies will, you can do that. So we're really saying, look, however you want to play your game, come join us. We want you to come and play games with us. There's a couple of options.
One of the things that really struck me, Firefight and the old version of Warpath were very, very similar. They were almost too close together that people didn't really see the differentiation between them. By shrinking Warpath down, allowing you to actually get all of those things on the table, have the big monsters, have the huge super heavies, it then became much easier to show it as its own distinct thing and not just a slightly bigger version of Firefight.
Yeah, correct. And I think there's a lot of largely gentlemen of a certain age who, I don't know, maybe our eyes start going and what we need, I get far and near, I don't know what it is, but we want to play those huge battles. While we dream of doing it in 28mm, it's just not feasible, just doesn't happen. So by doing it this way, you really can have that huge battle that you want to have, 8 factions in it, so there's loads of choice. Each one has a different gaming style as well. And so, yeah, we're just finding that the hoary old vets, the grognards of us, are absolutely charging into this and having some fun with it.
Yeah, guilty as charged on that one. It's going to be shipping to Kickstarter backers later on this summer?
Yeah, mid to late summer. The tooling has probably delayed it 6 or 8 weeks. It was just, we had 4 planned, they were sculpted. I think there's going to be something like 400 to 600 cavities, which you think because it's smaller, it's quicker. It's still a hole, and it's still got to cut it. It's still going to be detailed, and so it's probably the biggest tooling project we've ever undertaken. But yeah, well on track. The Enforcers, I hope to have it here. The Enforcers are somewhere between Poland and the UK right now in customs, but the first plastic sprues are in. I think we've sent some early shots to the backers, but they are going to be available. PDFs will be shipping a few weeks before the army, so people can start reading and planning. We'll give everyone a free PDF to have a look and read of it, and start planning your armies. So yeah, mid to late summer.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I was very good. I managed to restrict myself to 4 armies, although some of them are double-sized.
Yeah,
as I said. So,
very restricted.
yeah, I thought so. Somebody has to be. Now, looking over your shoulder are a terrible bunch of assassins.
Yes.
And this is one that I think a lot of people want to know as much as they can. So how much can we know about Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, so it's all coming now. So there is a bit of it. We've just got to put it out there and say, look, this is coming. Get ready for it. It's coming to Kickstarter. It is going to cover every single timeline, every single Assassin's Creed title. It is a board game. It's a play in the evening, appealing to the widest audience. I did look at miniature games, but there just isn't one, and I'd rather than shoot. I've always said if we do an IP, we're true to the IP.
Yeah.
And this is, you pick your timeline, and it's not by accident. Those are the first 4 you're going to get, and Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, and Valhalla.
Yeah.
And I've got to assassinate my targets before you assassinate yours, so I can be the best agent. And I'm going to spend my time either killing mine or really trying to stop you killing yours.
It's unusual when an assassin ends up becoming a bodyguard.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, there we are. It's going to be great fun. The Ubisoft guys are great to work with. Probably hitting Kickstarter in July. I'm just getting prompted off screen. Yeah. So probably July. Watch out for it. The stories are going to start. We've got a load of assets in. Games written by Jack, who's a great games designer. Who's worked with us on a number of games. Worked with us on Worms, which was hugely successful. So keep your eyes peeled for reveals and content coming over the next 4 weeks.
There you go. There we go, folks. Hopefully that's whet your appetite for what's going on at Mantic. It definitely is well worth checking out. Just the sheer volume of games that they have now, especially since the board game section seems to be taking off massively as well. No longer it's a little subsection of Mantic. It is a big chunk of the company proper. If you want to know any more, check them out. Drop a question below. You've heard it. Ronnie's going to be coming over and seeing me, so maybe we'll be able to weasel out a few more little bits of nuggety goodness from him in the future. We're going to push on and see what else there is here at the Expo.